When I was collecting stories about compassion, a man by the name of Jack Adler contacted me with a most compelling story. He had survived the death camps of Nazi Germany, the post-war displaced person camps, and eventually was relocated to Skokie, Illinois. He married, he raised a family, and he settled into a, quote, normal, end quote, life. Then the unthinkable happened. A neo-Nazi arrived in Skokie, testing the very parameters of free speech. But something else happened. After years of burying his past, Jack began to share his private nightmares, first with his family. This was the stimulus for Eli Adler, Jack Adler's filmmaker son, to take a trip back to Poland with his dad to revisit the very places that had haunted Jack for so many years. What is the link, the gift of compassion in this story? Khalil Gibran wrote, "Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars." You're going to learn how that fits so well with Jack Adler.
Jack Adler is my father. We grew up in Skokie, Illinois, a suburb just outside of Chicago. I'm his son Eli, and I remember my dad as a pretty cool guy. Our family life seemed normal to me. Birthday parties, barbecues, and bicycles down Dempster Street. It seemed to be the perfect childhood. Little did I know that beneath it all, something crazy was about to happen, something I had no idea was coming.
In 1976, we heard that Frank Collin and his neo-Nazi group were planning to come to Skokie.
More than 7,000 Holocaust survivors ended up moving to Skokie after World War II, including my father. Most had lost their entire families in the camps, and they came to Skokie to create new ones.
These survivors were making a shtetl in America. They were just doing what they knew how to do. They were doing what they remembered. It was in their cultural memory of their childhoods, and they're repeating it in this place in the middle of America.
They didn't often speak of their experiences. If they did in the home, it was usually in hushed tones or in a different language.
I wanted to forget it rather than relive it. And I think that's what psychologically it was all about.
The nightmares were always there. But if there was a touch, a smell, a word, anything would bring it back.
You came in this country and we always think that this is the best country and it's equality and it's freedom and here comes again a Cullen. You lose completely faith in people in the world.
We are not going to be intimidated by blacks or communists or Mayor Daley's mercenaries.
I don't think anyone fully appreciated the impact of what it would mean for a Holocaust survivor to have to come face to face with the swastika one more time.
There is a great fear among the survivors that this episode in history will also fade into oblivion.
In essence, they accomplished something, even though they didn't show up. They also were the stimulus of the survivors getting together and saying, hey, we've got to do something.
Frank Collin is the son of a survivor. This is one of the most inexplicable, tragic facts of his arrival in this story.
Like my father, Frank Collin's Jewish father was Polish and had survived the death camp in Dachau too. But somehow, some way, Collin's life had gone astray in a totally shocking direction.
The final solution to the Jewish question is exposing them as the leaders of international communism and race mixing.
We were in disbelief that this is actually happening and coming from a Jewish boy.
Through this inexplicable twist of fate in Skokie, I had discovered my father's past. I needed to go to the place where he had come from, to a place he had never told me about. So he and I returned to Poland, to Papianice, the small village where he had grown up before the war. I could see the unbearable sadness in my father's eyes as we relived the memories of his time in the ghetto. We ended up in the train station in Lodz, where Dad relived the nightmare of his sister's death upon arriving in Auschwitz.
And that's when my little sister was separated again from us. I'll never forget her face as she turned around, like her eyes were speaking. Don't leave me alone, don't leave me alone. My father and me. Yeah, that's how it was, unfortunately. There are so many whys in this world, especially in the Holocaust years. Why can people be so mean to innocent men, women, and children? Why? It's still difficult to comprehend.
Jack Adler has now addressed audiences that number in the millions, not so much to share his story, but to help them examine their own prejudices, to come to a deeper appreciation of words such as tolerance, mutual respect. Now that is Jack's gift of compassion. He has been honored worldwide for his accomplishments. Thank you, Jack, for your humanity. And also, thank you, Eli, for your generosity in allowing us to share your poignant trailer on our YouTube channel. We titled Jack's short story Out of the Ashes so that it would supplement but not conflict with the film title Surviving Skokie. Jack's story is now published in Tales to Inspire, the Ruby Collection, and it's a read you won't want to miss. Also, be sure to look for the film Surviving Skokie on the big screen.